Hello everyone, how are you? First of all, I hope that the audio quality is good because I got a mini microphone for this purpose since I always get complaints. So first of all, I hope you're all doing well at whichever point in your life that you are at this moment. So I just wanted to film this short video to explain to you guys a bit better on the whole productivity system that I have. I know I did make a video on this previously, but now I'm sharing a whole template for it, and I hope you find it helpful. So let me just share my screen. And I really hope this time that my forehead is not cut off like it was in my previous videos. All right. So this is my productivity hub template. This is the exact same one that I personally use on a day-to-day basis. And if you did watch my previous video, this is based on the GTD, or Getting Things Done, productivity system. However, I do have other options for you as well for those that like more simple and, I don't want to say clear, but just a bit less complicated, let's say, to-do lists. All right, so first, a quote that I find is very true, that is that discipline is the highest form of self-love. And this is something that I consistently remind myself of. For those of you who have watched my talk about time management, you know that I always talk about discipline. Discipline is infinite, let's say, but motivation is finite. That's why, especially towards this time, beginning of the year, we have this whole push of, I want to achieve my New Year's resolutions and I want to do all this and this and that. And then towards maybe mid-January or end of January, that slope kind of goes down because that's purely based on your motivation. But if you do genuinely want to change these things, then that's when we look at discipline, holding yourself accountable. And even more so than that, I believe in creating systems that allow you to hold yourself accountable. So like this type of productivity template, so that you don't forget anything, so you don't have that kind of excuse. So first, if you're not sure how to use Notion, I highly recommend checking out my old video. It explains in more detail how this tracker and how these systems work. And so generally, my productivity hub is divided into work and learning, life and leisure, and then you have more things under that I'll show you in a second. I try to include visuals as much as possible because I love art, I love design. This is from Beaming Design. You should actually check her page out. That's very cool. So yeah, it's just a nice reminder to use your energy to do good things, inspire, attract, heal, radiate, love, energy, all that stuff. So for work and learning, these are the MedHub templates that I've already put out for you guys. And I'm going to go through them a bit towards the end, just so I don't repeat myself 50 times. There's also a link to all my notes in med school from now ongoing, or from first year ongoing. I'm almost done, hopefully. And a link to my video on the art of time management. So again, this shows how to use Notion, but also other things. And I'm very into psychology, so how do you understand your brain in order to be more, let's say, empathetic with it on one end, and also to hack it. I find that, understanding how things work really helps me put other things into perspective. So that's for work and learning, and feel free to add other things as well. If you're doing any research projects, you can kind of have the external link on this page. And then towards life and leisure, these are things I haven't shared before. Disclaimer though, these templates are not my own. I got them off of Pinterest about 2 years ago, but I kept going through everything and I just couldn't seem to find where they came from, unfortunately. So if anyone knows, please do let me know. And so first is self-reflection and growth. So these pages you can feel free to keep, delete them. It basically just has all of your priorities listed. So let's say if you open mind or body, it's just areas of your life. So first in the self-reflection table, you're going to check off how important is body to you. Very important, important, less important, etc. And kind of understanding the intention behind it. Behind that, what are the reasons I want exactly that, or what is my goal and what do I want in this area of my life. So you just do that essentially for all these different areas. Maybe some of them are not applicable to everyone, like marriage or parenting, but I think they're just there for anyone who might need them. And it's a wonderful way to just have that template to sit down and really look more introspectively, which is a very crucial form of growth, in my opinion. And so you can go through all these templates. So there's, again, body, mind, spirit, social life. You can go kind of prioritize the most important thing in this relationship and that relationship, and getting clear on your social values, etc., etc. So yeah, this is, again, a template that is not my own, but I did find it very helpful. And moreover, I also have my reading hub, which I really enjoy using. So whenever I get a book or I have my giant stack of to be read, I think that we all do, I just add them here, and then as I'm reading and going through them, I just update that this book is done. So as you can see, if you add a book, you can put all the details, title, author, genre, if you want to add a picture of the cover, total pages, and basically, like, let's say there's 200 pages and I'm currently on page 50, so it's going to tell you what percentage of this book you're done. Although, again, sometimes they don't update this religiously. It's more so to keep track of what I have in my library, what I need to read, what I need to kind of not buy at the moment, and just kind of finish my TBR list. You can also look at it as a library, notes and quotes, which is really nice to keep anything that you find very profound or very meaningful to you. And if you guys watch Ali Abdal's videos, he has a video on the second brain, so I'd really recommend checking that out. It's very cool. So he kind of talks about how when you read these books, listen to these podcasts, you cannot fully rely on your brain to remember all of these facts in the future. So it's much better for you in the long run to just, if you have a line that you like, just type it down. It won't take more than a minute. And eventually you're going to create this whole library of things that are very meaningful or impactful to you. I also tend to do this on the Notes app, but I thought to include it for you guys here as well. And so I talked about this in the time management talk, but it's very important for me to feel as though in my free time I am nurturing my mind. Although mindless scrolling can be enjoyable sometimes, especially when we feel like we do need that break, it's also important to make sure that we're using our time wisely to nurture ourselves, to grow in ways that might be unexpected. I like just opening a TED Talk or TED Ed video about a topic I've never had any interest in, and just learning something new. I think it's always nice to spend your time doing that. So essentially, this is a video of talks, or a playlist of videos of talks on YouTube that I'd recommend to anyone willing to listen and willing to learn. And so I just generally keep adding to this. They're not all TED Talks, disclaimer. But yeah, they're all things that have helped me or taught me something in some way. I also have widgets here, so for the weather, wherever you are in the world, and for the time. So this is set to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but you can feel free to edit this to wherever you are in the world. All right, and for my weekly schedule, there's 2 templates that I have. Okay, so I just wanted you guys to have access to both. So this is just a very simplified version. So it's basically a simple manual tracker. So what you do is add your daily highlight, and just daily highlight is the single most important thing that's happening in that day. So let's say Monday, my highlight is I have a presentation, for example, or I have a project due, or this or that. So this is just the key task for that day. And then under that, I would add my to-do list. And I try to keep it limited to maybe 3 to 4 tasks. Sometimes I have a really long list. Sometimes I don't. But I try to prioritize in a way that tells me, okay, this is the bare minimum I need to get done today. And if I'm really killing it, these are the additional things that I might have to do. And if there's any task that I haven't completed by the end of the week, by Saturday, I'll just put it into the overdue. And then when I reset this whole thing for the next week, we can, start again and see where I can add these tasks in. And I like to have a log of everything. So if I've completed a task, I would just drag it into completed tasks instead of just deleting everything. And so you would essentially have a list here complete with all the tasks you've ever done. If you want that, you can just delete them. Feel free. And now the monster, let's say, is the GTD Productivity System. So I added a step-by-step guide for people that, might not want to go through this video, and maybe just as a nice refresher later on. So it just looks at first of all, how do I use the system? This is what I tried to explain in my prior video. But let's say I have a task that I want to do. Let's call it, you can open Inside Peak. I usually prefer to do that. Let's say what I'm doing right now. Film productivity YouTube video. And the important part comes when you talk about the category. So first thing you're going to determine is this a high energy task or a low energy task? Low energy tasks are things that you can generally do passively, like let's say compiling documents, light reading, maybe like a Zoom call, something, things that aren't very strenuous on your mind or on your body. So let's say me filming this video, I would say is medium energy, but let's, for the sake of it, just say high energy task. I'm gonna need my laptop, my phone, and you can always add more criteria like video or something. And so the purpose of all of these categories is so that you can filter it later on. So let's say I'm doing this today, January 7th, and just for the sake of it, I'm going to check off ASAP so you guys know what that means. Okay. So if you can see what just happened, this is the inbox. So all of the tasks that you have to do are going to be placed into this inbox. And you can do this. It literally takes seconds just to say, hey, okay, this is a low energy task. Let's say, for example, go to the pharmacy. For example, pharmacy. Oops. Okay. And for me, going to the pharmacy is a low energy task. I don't need any of this. I just need, let's say, pharmacy is like one of the tasks I put down. And I need to do this by, let's say, tomorrow. Okay, Jan 8th. And it doesn't need to be done ASAP. And you can always add like exactly what you have to do after. So you can see that just by me inputting my tasks, anything due tomorrow is going to show up here, due soon. Okay, so that's go to the pharmacy. I didn't add it here. It was automatically filtered into this category. Anything that checked off as ASAP, okay, I'll just check it off again. ASAP is going to be this, film your YouTube productivity video. And anything that doesn't fit into these two categories is going to be here, due later. So that's basically after tomorrow until forever. So let's say, what is anything I can do? Let's just say study, for example. All right, and so this is considered for me a high energy task related to university. I'll need my laptop for, for example, this is related to an exam. All right, and I want to do this after, let's say on Monday. So you see how just by doing that, it automatically shows up here. So that's one way to use this whole system. And another way that I find very helpful is that if you go, wait, I'm sorry, I just need to move this. Okay, if you go here, let's say I want to know what my low energy tasks are. So I just searched low, and let's say I'm not feeling too energetic today. Okay, I can check off all my low energy tasks. And your inbox is going to be quite large because, again, these things are going to compile and compile. And so now I can see what are the low energy tasks. Let's say I have my laptop. So I can search laptop, and I can see out of everything written, what are the tasks that I can do or need to get done on my laptop. So yeah, that's just a nice way of looking at it. And then after everything is done, let's say I filmed this productivity video or I went to the pharmacy, it will automatically disappear. And the reason this whole system works the way it does is because of the filters that I have placed. So for the GTD, due date is on or before today, done is unchecked, and ASAP is checked. Actually, I would say or ASAP is checked, but like I am going to show you. So this and done is unchecked. And then you can say or. I'm gonna remove it just to show you. Or ASAP is checked and done is unchecked. Should be an and. So basically, if you put the due date on today and it's not done, or before today, or if ASAP is checked and it's not done, it's gonna show up here for everyone. So yeah, so save for everyone, so now you guys have access to that. And for tomorrow, it's also similar. So done is unchecked, ASAP is unchecked, and due date is tomorrow. And then for due later, it's basically everything else. So ASAP is unchecked, done is unchecked, and due date is after tomorrow. So this is how this whole thing kind of filters, and you can automatically get the tasks done as soon as possible. I'm just going to delete them so it doesn't show up if anyone wants to duplicate the Notion board. But yeah, so it's quite annoying once you get the hang of it in the beginning, but once you have it set up and you just kind of have your tasks in there and it automatically filters into these different things, it makes it a lot easier for you. There's also something that I did, which is turn these tasks with the due date into a kind of monthly agenda. So anything that you'd have to do, for example, the task that we just put here is going to show up on January 7th. Let's say I know I have a task on Wednesday, the 11th. It's the exact same thing as before. You can just add what are the relevant filters or contexts that you're looking at. And yeah, it's pretty easy from there. I'm just going to delete this one so you guys don't need to have it. And yeah, you can add different views as well. If you don't just like this one, you can have it based on, let's say, data source is your GTD system, and you can choose your existing view. So you can say, I want this as a board, for example. So this can show you based on the different filters. I'm just going to delete this for now, but if you guys prefer to have this, you can definitely do that. Notion is very versatile. Okay, I'm going to catch my breath, and that's just generally the whole productivity system that I've been explaining thus far. Okay, so now I'm just going to go through a brief overview of my MedHub templates because I do have a few updates from the last time I made this video. The MedHub template, the original one, is just, you know, a very general one that you can add all your lectures to. However, my 4th and 5th year or clerkship templates are basically divided by all the rotations that I have taken thus far. INS is integrated neuroscience, what I'm currently doing. And so for any rotation that you might be doing at any point in the world, this basically has all of the lectures that we had or the blueprint from the manuals at our hospitals that we were training in. So basically, it just has all the key topics for each subject. You also have something called blueprint cases. So blueprint cases is more general, especially if you're studying not necessarily in Al Faisal University College of Medicine, just other colleges worldwide. So it basically has all of the key topics, let's say in pediatrics, and I related them to a specific specialty or subspecialty. So for example, anything related to pediatric endocrinology is here. Cushing syndrome, ambiguous genitalia, diabetes insipidus, diabetes mellitus, etc. Same for rheumatology, neonatology, etc. So this might just be easier for you to follow along instead of the lecture list. Because in the lecture list, and this is not specific to pediatrics, it's all specialties that we take, you have it by subject, so just like it was, or by session type. So we have some things that are lectures, some things that are BSTs or bedside teaching sessions, small group discussions or small group teachings, etc. So this might not always be applicable to you wherever you are in the world, but the blueprint cases generally are, so that's why I just suggest you use these. And I also have each resource that you might be using, so Online Med-Ed, Boards and Beyond, AMBOSS, Osmosis Clinical Reasoning, which is a very underrated and helpful resource, by the way, Sketchy, Anki, etc. So you can just check it off as you go along to track your progress. And so this applies to all the different subspecialties. One thing in particular that I would recommend you check out is in IM. It's also in these pages. So in Med, Ambulatory, and IMD, there is basically what we have, the rapid fire review. So rapid fire review, here I added a table of contents because it was getting longer and longer. So whenever I would solve UWorld questions or anything for any specific topic, let's say sarcoidosis, for example. So I would add the different things. I would add mnemonics, something I found helpful in AMBOSS. So just kind of a one quick look, this is what I need to know about any given disease. For example, sarcoidosis, allergies, anaphylaxis, anticoagulants, etc. And some of these are longer than others. For example, like when we were doing emergency medicine, I added ACLS and arrhythmias. These are from Online MedEd, etc. Not all of these are complete. However, you can find just kind of a quick look, what do I need to know about each topic. For students that are doing IMD or our internal medicine rotation in 5th year, there's basically a compilation of what are the previously tested concepts. For example, RA, this is just very brief overview. This has nothing about the specific diseases, like it's not explaining what is SLE, what is ankylosing spondylitis. It's just, you see this vignette, this is how it's most likely to come. Just, very key words with a minimal explanation so that you can get through them very quickly. And yeah, I think that is it for the most part. There's always my PDF that always shows you how to use everything, and just the way the lectures appear here, and then first pass, second pass. This is also what I tried my best to explain in the previous video. So I hope you found this helpful, and I'm just going to go back to the productivity template here. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below and I'll try to get to them as soon as possible. I really hope that you find this template helpful because I genuinely have found it helpful throughout a lot of my medical school. Although I only started learning how to use Notion in my 3rd year, but I think it really did make a difference. And I hope you enjoy it just as much as I do. Have a wonderful morning, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, ma'as salama, everyone. Thank you for listening.